Okay, hi everybody. We're working through the trigonometry review, and for this question here, we just got to figure out the derivatives of each of these things using implicit differentiation. Okay, so this first one here, I notice for my first term I've got an x squared sine of y squared. Okay, now it's important to notice where the square is in that trig function. It's inside the trig function, okay? But this is going to still require the product rule. So the derivative of x squared will be 2x, okay, times the sine of y squared plus x squared times the cosine of y squared multiplied by 2y multiplied by y primed. Okay, now a lot going on there. So we take that first factor there. I don't have to do anything to it. Now I'm going to take the derivative of the sine, which gets me cosine. Okay, now, but remember, when I talk about the sine, I have to include in that what it's the sine of. So this becomes the cosine of y squared. Multiply by the derivative of what's inside the trig function, 2y, and then because I'm doing this implicitly, I got to include the derivative of y, which is y primed. Then over here, I'm going to take, again, this is another product rule here, take the derivative of y to get y primed cos x minus, now normally I would say plus, but there's going to be a negative sign that will distribute through both terms, minus y times the derivative of cosine, which is going to be negative sine. So that's actually going to become positive sine of x equals 0. Okay? So the derivative of that 6 is going to be 0. Don't forget about that. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to factor the y primed out of the two terms that have the y's in them, and then I'm going to move the other two terms over to the other side. So y primed times, I'm just going to clean this up a little bit here. This is going to be 2x squared y cosine of y squared. What is that going to be? Minus the cosine of x. And I'll bring the other terms over, so it'll be negative 2x sine y squared minus y sine x. And then I'll just divide. Y primed is going to equal negative 2x sine y squared minus y sine x all over 2x squared y cosine of y squared minus the cosine of x. Okay. And other than maybe perhaps factoring out the negative and bringing that down and multiplying that through, there's really not much else that can be done to simplify that. So that's as far as we really need to go.